Oh, hello people of the internet. Welcome back to another video from the Garret Porter YouTube channel. Now I have a box, and on this box it says Faster Minis because in the last video I said I was going out and buying some parts for my pit bike. Well, the day has finally come to where we are going to be putting parts on old Rusty right here. Now, she's had a good life so far. I actually bought her a year ago yesterday. And then today I bought this camera a year ago today. So that's actually pretty cool. Inside this box, I have a whole bunch of goodies for this thing. But now, if you don't know anything about this pit bike, this is my 2021 CRF 110. Bigger suspension on it. It's got XR50 bars on it. And it's got a BBR seat on it. And that's about it. The fork seals are just completely gone on this thing. They are deteriorating. There's no more oil in it. So that is also on the agenda to do today as well. What's in the box? Well, let me just go ahead and throw you up on a tripod and I will show y'all what's in the box. Alrighty, so I went to Faster Minis and I went ahead and got me a whole bunch of goodies for this CRF. And honestly, I'm so excited because the guys, as of right now, can't catch me on my 110. So if I just make this thing even faster, oh, could you imagine the pit bike videos? They're gonna be incredible. So let's see what we got inside here. We got the parts list. Let's go ahead and go over the parts list since I actually forgot what all I got. Fork oil, extended brake pedal, a magnetic drain bolt, we have waffle top grips, we have an extended shifter, we have a PAX racing intake kit, which I'm super excited to put on. We have a shift brace, we have a bump start, which pretty much just means that you can start it in any gear. You don't have to put it back in neutral to start it, which I absolutely hate on these pit bikes. You have to put it in neutral before you can start it again. It's such a waste of time. So I went ahead and got that delete for it. I also got a bigger throttle tube because the ones that come stock on the 110s are about yay big. So I got a full size one that's about yay. Anyways.
That's what she said.
I also got an air filter and I got dust and fork seals. So I got fork seals, I got fork oil, I got everything that I need. Total, we got a whole bunch of stuff to do. We don't have a lot of time to do it. So let's go ahead and get started. Throw y'all into a time lapse. I'm gonna get these plastics and seat off because I'm excited to see how fast this thing is actually going to be after this. Now, I've watched a whole bunch of videos. They said that this PAX intake tube isn't going to do a crazy amount of horsepower gains. It's like half a horsepower gain, but with me being so light, it already has big suspension on it. This is going to open the bike up a lot, and I'm also going to do the airbox mod. So if y'all have a CRF 110 and you're looking to do some mods, I would highly suggest this, and I would highly suggest the airbox mod, which I'll show y'all when we get to that step. But as for right now, let's get this party going.
Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, ayy, on a roll, here we go, yeah we win.
Alright, so I think the first thing we're going to do, since I already have the plastics torn off, and it's probably the simplest thing that we can do, I'm going to go ahead and do this block off plate. Now I already went ahead and told you this is what makes it able to start the dirt bike in any gear instead of it having to be in neutral. So we're gonna go ahead and do this first. So first off, what you're gonna wanna do is disconnect the battery because you are working with electrical right here. So we're gonna go ahead and do that, and then it should be pretty straightforward. So once you get the original off, then the only thing you have to do is take off this O-ring and replace it and put the O-ring back on the new one. And then, so that falls off just like that. Put the new O-ring on and then come back to the same spot where you were just at right here. We'll put it right back in there like that. They give you a screw, but I'm probably just gonna use the one that I have here because that's what makes most sense to me. And then once that is in there, just like that, what you gotta do is you get your negative adapter now and you plug it in where you had it originally, and then once that's plugged all the way in, you just run your gigantic sleeve over top of it all, and bada bing bada boom, she should be able to start in any gear. I guess it would also help if I put the battery terminal back on. Now let's see, she's in neutral, now she's in first. Bada bing, bada boom. That's one step down. I don't know how many more left, but woo, that is so much better than having to always click it back into neutral to get this damn thing to start. So, what else we gotta do? Well, we got a lot to do, but what's the next easiest step? I think I'm gonna go ahead and dive into the shift brace. And while I'm doing the shift brace, I will go ahead and do the shifter while we're at it. So, you have to come off, my guy. And I remember the last time I tried to get you off, you were a pain in my butt. So, don't be a pain in my butt today. This shift brace right here, this shift brace right here, these things right here are notorious for breaking, and you don't want it to break inside because then you got to take the entire motor out and split the case to get this shift shaft back in there. So that's what this is for. This is a shift brace, and that's just going to slide right inside there to protect the big shaft coming out so you can shift this girl. Oh, all right, finally. We can get that old disgusting thing out of here, and we can put this back on. But I do remember that we have to take the bottom 2 case bolts off, so we got to take this one off, and we have to take that one off. And then it should just slide right in, and we're done with that part. I also do need to get me a new chain. I accidentally left the bike outside for a couple nights when I was out of town, and well, she got some rain, and then the chain started rusting. So the next thing I'm gonna be buying for this thing is a chain, and probably different size gears, because I've been doing a bunch of research on these things, and drop a tooth in the front and a tooth in the rear and do like a 13 and a 40, and this thing picks up a whole lot of bottom end. So maybe that's what we'll do. This thing already has a crap ton of bottom end because I'm so light on it. If I do that, it might just be even more. Can you come out already? Super easy. It just slides on, should slide on. Uh-oh, is my shaft bent? Lordy, lordy, I hope not. Oh, we might be in a predicament, ladies and gentlemen. My shaft might be bent.
That's what she said.
Well, if you ever wonder why I don't work on very much stuff, it's because I get mad really, really fast when just shit doesn't work the way it should. So now, my shift shaft is bent. I currently just broke my front brake lever because I kicked the bike over. Handlebars are bent and it doesn't shift anymore. So here's what happened. So shift shaft, let's go ahead and just start with that. All right, so as you can see, well, I guess since the bike's already halfway broken, might as well just break it more. See this right here is your shift shaft, obviously. And see this is the shift shaft brace from Super Minis, or Faster Minis or whatever that I just bought. But when I put the shift shaft brace on the shift shaft, it now doesn't shift. Now, you may be asking yourself, well, Garrett, why doesn't it shift when you put the shift shaft brace on the shift shaft? Well, that, I just shift shaft don't know. So now I have to figure out how to take the shift shaft brace off of the, I'm tired of saying these words. I have to take this off of this so this can shift, because right now it doesn't shift because this is holding too much pressure on this for it to shift. When I push it up, when I pull it up to put it in first gear, it gets stuck all the way up, so like it's in a natural neutral. Then when I push it all the way down, it gets stuck all the way down like it's stuck in natural neutral, and then I have to bump it with my hand to get it back in neutral or to get it back in first. So, whoo! I am almost so tempted to just call it a day and just leave all of this right where it sits, because I am annoyed. I've been working on this shift shaft brace for the last hour and a half, and I am so mad at myself. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get this brace off of the shaft, then I'm going to go online and I'm now going to order a front brake lever because that is currently broken, and I might have to order some other stuff. I haven't looked that too far into it yet because I'm still mad. So I'm gonna get that brace off there, and then I'm probably just gonna see y'all tomorrow. Okay? Okay. Alrighty, well, the new shifter is on and the shift brace is not on. I went ahead and threw that somewhere. I don't know where it is now, but probably permanently gone forever, which I'm not mad about. Apparently my shaft is bent. Hush it. When I do, it stiffens it up so much that it's not allowing it to bend right and go back where it should be. So instead of splitting the case and putting a new shaft on there, and when the damn thing bends, that's when I'll worry about it. But until then, we're just gonna send it. So the next thing that I have to do, I'm probably just gonna go ahead and flip the bike over on its head, like 180 it, and then I'm going to put the drain bolt in, and then I might start taking the airbox off. I don't know. We'll have to figure out how I feel when we get there. All right, well, the magnetic drain bolt is in. I did that the most easiest way that you could possibly do it. And yeah, on to the next step. All right, so now I'm going to go ahead and take off this itty bitty little throttle cable because we don't need this anymore because we're stepping it up to a big boy throttle tube. And I've never done this before, so I have no idea how this is supposed to work or how you do it or yada, yada, yada. But I guess we're about to figure it out together. Oh, hell, I don't know what I'm doing. This is the PITBIKE version tube, and then this is the full-size tube, so just a little bit longer, but that way your hand isn't all cramped up on this little thing. You got some room to actually move around. Well, that wasn't so terribly hard. I don't know if I did that right or not. I guess we're about to... Oh, she's in gear. All right, well, she works. Now we just got to, I guess, stretch this back on there, and bada bing, bada boom. Too easy. All right, so, oh yeah, she's gonna have good brakes now. So, we have new grips, broken front brake lever, new rear brake lever, forgot what all I've done already. Magnetic drain bolt, different shifter, shift brace that doesn't work, so we're not too worried about it. And now the next thing we have to do is the intake and fork seals. So I'm gonna wait for tomorrow to do that, so I would just pick y'all up tomorrow, all right, all right. All right, bud sniffers. Well, it is day 2 of working on this POS. Actually, it's like day more 4, 5, or 6 because I didn't. Anyways, and today we're going to be doing fork seals and the intake tube. Now, I've never done the fork seals and I've never done an intake tube on anything before. So I'm pretty much just going to throw you up on a tripod and I'm going to turn this into a time lapse and I'm going to watch this YouTube video because I am currently YouTube certified on doing fork seals on a CRF 110. So now that I'm YouTube certified, I'm going to watch a YouTube video while doing this job because I've never done it before and I'm actually kind of scared that I'm going to ruin it. But it's literally just like 4 different things. So I'm going to step out of my comfort zone and I'm going to do it. I'm real scared, but I'll throw you up on a tripod. I'm going to get these fork seals knocked out. I'm going to do one at a time. I'm not going to go over it on how to do it because there's so many videos on YouTube on how to do it that are going to explain it way better than I ever will. I'm going to go ahead and get these knocked out and then we will figure out how to get that intake tube on, and I'm not excited about that one. That's going to be probably the worst project that I have to do on this bike, so I'm not looking forward to that. But anyways, hope you guys are enjoying the video and let's get started on today's project. Alright, butt sniffers. Well, I'm having to record on my phone because my camera battery died. So, these are the original dust covers. Now, that is just absolutely... This one right here is the left one, and this right here is the right one. As you can tell, they are just gone, disgusting. Got fresh dust covers on both sides, got fresh seals inside. Everything is cleaned on the outside. Now, the only thing we gotta do is crack these things open, get this cap off pretty easy. Gonna have some torque to it because it's got spring loaded. So go ahead and take this spacer out, and you see that washer right there? Don't want to lose that washer. So spacer and then nuts or bolt or whatever you want to call it, and then we have to pour 5.5 ounces. Since I have the extended dampening rods and stuff like that, VBR actually calls for 5.5. I'm gonna go ahead and use my mother's measuring glass because I don't have one, so I'm definitely gonna have to wash that out a whole bunch before she uses it again. Or else we're gonna be tasting some fork oil. But anyways, 5.5 ounces. I'm gonna go ahead and slap that in there, and then I will pick you all up in just a second because I'm not gonna be able to do this with one hand. Alrighty, well, fork seals are done. Oil is in, handlebars are on. Now the next thing I have to do is just put this front wheel on, grease the axle, and then the next thing I gotta do is this intake tube, which I'm not excited about. So I'm gonna watch a YouTube video on that once I get this front wheel on, and then I will pick y'all up after that. Now, the next step we have to do is this. This is the PAX intake. I've read a bunch of reviews. I've watched a bunch of YouTube videos, pretty much YouTube certified on this PAX intake. So you can do the airbox mod, which is inside here that I'm going to show y'all in a second, and this right here, and it'll open it up just a little bit to give you enough horsepower. It makes airflow more. The more airflow you got, the more horsepower you get, the faster you go. That's obvious. So what I'm going to do now is try and get this air box off and get in here and get this tube off. This tube right here is the same thing as this, but as you can see, this is much wider and has a more open fit than this one does. So I'm going to figure out how to get this air box off, and then we will go from there. My camera is still charging, so I'm not going to be able to give you all a time lapse on this, but I will pick y'all up. Maybe I'll be able to set my phone up and get a time lapse, something. I'm not sure. So if you see it, it happened. If you didn't, it didn't happen. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this airbox off, and then I will show y'all the next step. All right, so let me just go ahead and show y'all what all you gotta do. You gotta take all the fenders off, gotta take the front fender off. I went ahead and pulled the gas tank off just to make it easier to get to this airbox. You got one right here, you got one inside here that you gotta get, and you got one on the other side. You gotta undo it from the throttle body. With this right here is the throttle body right here, and then that hose went right into the throttle body, and then she just comes right on out. So now what you got to do is you have to cut, I think, right after this second rib. And then once you cut right after this second rib, so you cut it right about there, this one attaches just like that. So yeah, pretty much right at the second rib is where you want to cut it. And then you just put it all back together, and then bada bing, bada boom. Let me go ahead and show you all the difference. So see how little that hole is right there? I mean, my thumb stuffs it. Such a little hole, which means not a lot of airflow is getting into that throttle body. So what is that? That's restrictive. If you look at this one, look at the difference. So you have, I don't know, ½ inch of air compared to almost an 1.5 inches of air. So that right there is going to be a drastic amount of power, because all this thing does, air comes through here, loops back around, condenses, and then goes into the throttle body. This one doesn't condense at all. So all the air that sucks in through here is going through here into that throttle body, which means you're gonna have more horsepower, which means you're gonna have more air, which means you're gonna go faster. So which means the boys are definitely gonna have a harder time catching me while I'm on my pit bike. So also I'm gonna show y'all inside here the trick that you do to make even more horsepower. Now this doesn't add a lot, but it definitely gets rid of that screen. Let me go ahead and pop this cover off, and I'll show y'all what to do on the inside of this. All right, so once you take all 4 of those black screws out, then you just pop your airbox cover off. And now you should have an air filter in here, but my new one's right there. And then what you want to do is, if I can do all of this with one hand, you want to pop this cover off, and then you have this metal screen. Now this mesh screen right here is air restrictive all to hell. So what you want to do is fold these tabs back, get you a Phillips head screwdriver, and pop this off. And then once you pop this off, so once those are unscrewed, carefully take this off and dump those screws out. And this mesh plate right here, see how air restrictive that is? I mean, you can't even see the bike, you can't even see the truck. So all of the air coming through here is slowing down, and that's no good. We don't want to slow down, we want to speed up. So then what you have to do is cut these little black nipples off, and once you cut these nipples off right here, this mesh screen will pop out. You'll still have this black plastic right here, and what you do is you just set it back in there, and then you'll be able to see all the way through. And then you cut that pipe, put the new one on, bada bing, bada boom, you have all the airflow that you need on a stock throttle body. Alrighty, and just like that, once you cut all those little black nipples off, this ungodly screen will just fall right out of here, and then it just goes right back in there just like that. And then you put your air filter on top of that, and look at all the airflow you have compared to the BS that you didn't have. Now you got all the airflow. Just put your Phillips head back in there, close that latch back down, and you are good to go. So I'm gonna cut this pipe, I'm gonna put the new one on, I'm gonna slap this thing back together, and I will see y'all when the finished product is here. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I fuckered up a little bit, so let me just go ahead and show y'all what I did. So on this air box, you're supposed to cut, anyways, remember that tube that came off here, the old one that didn't have a lot of airflow in it? Well, you're supposed to cut down at the second notch. So I cut it off at the second notch, and then I put that in there, then I put it in the bike, but it was too much, so I went ahead and cut it down again, but I messed up because you're not supposed to cut this down anymore. You're supposed to cut the tube down to however you need it. So I went ahead and just called Iron Horse, and they said $75 and they'll have it by Wednesday. So now I'm getting a brand new air box that has all of this fun stuff in it, so I can cut it down again and then cut this.
It's false.
Oh, it's hot. Woo! Hello, dear. All right, well, Ladies and gentlemen, it's hot outside today again for the 50th day in a row. I think we have another 2 weeks of 95 degrees, so pretty great. So the last time y'all saw me, I was talking about how I messed up the cut and I didn't do it right, yada yada yada. I think I might have fixed it. I have been working on this without filming. I've been working on it a little bit today just to get everything right, see what I had to do, see what I had to go and buy, see what I had to cut, yada yada yada. But as of right now, this is what we have so far, so let me show you. So last time that we talked about the bike, I told you that I cut too much off of the airbox, cut too much of the hose off. So what I did is I went ahead and cut it all the way off. I don't know if you guys can see that, but it's flushing out with the airbox. What I did was, I don't even know if I can get this back off. Oh, perfect. This is the PAX intake tube that I bought for the CRF airbox. This is supposed to sit in there like that, but you know, I cut it off. So what I did was, I put it in just like that, how it's not supposed to go, but we're gonna make it work. I put it in there like that, and then I cut the bottom piece off right here to fit onto the throttle body. So now I have this little piece, about, I don't know, an inch wide, that I cut off of here. Now it fits perfect, so what I'm going to do is, I went out and bought a good old JB Weld. So what we're gonna do is, I'm gonna put this tube inside here, because this initially had a tube inside here that flanged out. So what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna put this inside there, I'm gonna put this around that, which is gonna keep it in place. Then I'm going to JB Weld everything inside here. I'm gonna JB Weld this in. I'm then going to put it on the bike. We're gonna put it together and then we're going to go ride. I read a bunch of reviews on this pit bike that says when you do this PAX intake, it's such a big opening that it actually kills your bottom end. So then in order to counteract the bottom end killer of this gives you more mid end and top end. In order to counteract the loss of bottom end, you have to change the front sprocket from a 14 to a 13. You drop down to a 13 on a front sprocket on a CRF 110. It's about changing 3 to 4 teeth in the back. So I went ahead and did that. I got me a new chain and I got me a new front brake lever because when I kicked it over the other day when I was mad, I broke it. So I have everything new coming in. We're gonna go ahead and slap this together, get it glued, get it dried, and then we're gonna go ride. So guys, just sit back and then enjoy the final product of today's show. I hope I don't mess this up, because if I do, it's literally game over for Garrett. So let's hope I don't screw this up. I have that plug in there. It is sitting around the ring. I have this sitting here. I'm going to sit here and hold this and let it dry, and then I will get back to you in just a second.
15 minutes later.
It's been 15 minutes. Let's put the airbox back on. All right, so pretty much, you know how it goes. This goes inside there, and then it's sticking to the throttle body, and then, yeah, let's see if it's a little bit sticky, but I do think she should hold, so I'm gonna go ahead and slap everything back together, and, yeah, hope that it works. That's got to go in there, kind of like that. I don't want to bump nothing. Excuse me, pardon me. Got to go in there like that. Okay, yes. That sits in there. That sits in there nice. I'm going to go ahead and tighten up that right there. We are almost done, ladies and gentlemen. Almost done. This has taken way longer than it should have, but the end result is going to be so worth it. And we got to do more stuff when those other parts come in. So that I'm pretty excited about. That should really, what we're doing right now should wake this thing up. But when I put that 13 tooth on and a new chain, that should really all wake it up together. So I'm excited to see what happens. Hell yeah, that's on there. Make sure everything's good. That's tightened down. That's tightened down. Everything should be plugged in, ready to go. I hope I'm right. So everything's done. Now the only thing that we have to do is put the air filter on, put the seat on, the plastics, and we should be good to go. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that now. Intake mod is done, fork seals are done, PAX intake tube is done, shifter's done, brake lever's done, grips are done, sprockets on the way, chains on the way, and a new front brake lever. Everything's done. Let's see if this thing starts. Oh, please, Lord. Ha. Perfect. I did everything. Shoot, I did everything right. I don't have any leftover bolts, I don't think. I'm putting the plastics on, I'm putting the GoPro on, and me and you are going for a ride. All right, For some, oh, no way. Oh, it's definitely more. It's definitely more torquey, 100%. Let's take it down the road and just see. Might need to also tighten my rear brake up again. The front end feels pretty, like I want to say loose, but I don't know if that's the word for it. It feels different. Might need to bring back my handlebars just a little bit, because they are, now that I'm riding it, they're a little straight up. It was already jumpy from the beginning because of the rear suspension. All right, let's just see. So this is third gear. I mean, this full-size grip feels so much better compared to the little one, because the little one was about that wide, so my whole hand was gripping it. Now that I have a full grip, it feels so much better. So this is third gear. I mean, and it's moving me back in my seat. Front forks feel good. I just hope I mean, it seems like I did everything right. So they say the bottom end is lost when you do the PAX intake, but it's a little gone, but it's nothing crazy. I mean, third gear. Huh, the boys are gonna kill me. Oh, these look new. I wonder if they just did that. Oh, they definitely just did that, because I can smell it. This thing is so torquey. I'm definitely gonna have to pull these bars back just a little bit, because they're straight up. Oh yeah, I like it, boys and girls. She does have a little bit more top end to her, but once I put that 13-tooth sprocket on the back, the bottom end is really gonna wake up. From a dig, holding the shifter up, I'm just gonna drop it. Oh! Oh yeah, she's much faster. Definitely on the top end faster, bottom end a little bit slower like they were talking about, but it is still really, really good. This bike really came alive. There's a lot more air coming into this bike now, so now she should run a little better. She's still really touchy because of this fuel injection. You get it to the top of the wheelie and you'll feel it, like you give it a little bit of gas and it wants to come back really fast. So you gotta be watching it, but it feels like a brand new bike, which is crazy to me. Let's check the forks. Uh-oh, I got some fork oil happening and I don't know what from. I got fork oil on that side. I also have some fork oil on this side. Where are you coming from? That's what that is. That's grease from the axle, but that's fork oil and that shouldn't be happening. So unless I did the forks wrong, which I don't know how because I literally watched the video, leave it down in the comments. Is that supposed to happen with brand new forks? I mean, it shouldn't have fork oil on the fork or not, but I don't know. Leave it down in the comments. Is that supposed to happen? Because I'm not too sure. Oh, good old bump start. You can start it in any gear, even third, I guess. Man, this thing comes up so easy now. Brought them back towards me just a little bit. Hopefully that should help. Dummy. All right, dude, this thing, it's literally a brand new animal. It's so crazy how just more torquey it is now compared to compared to a stock bike. I mean, it just comes up with ease. That's so good. Love that. Third gear. Oh, so much better. It took a lot to get this thing up in fourth gear. Let's see if I can get it up in fourth gear now. We can make it happen. Still pretty easy. Not as bad as what it was, but it's definitely easier now. All right, ladies and gentlemen, well, I think that is it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it, because I surely am enjoying it. Oh, it's too easy now. Heck yeah, dude. Hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, make sure to leave it down in the comments. If you are not already subscribed, make sure to do so, because we are on the way to 160,000 subscribers, which is absolutely nuts. I never thought I was going to be this far on this channel, but here we are. Thank you so much for all the love and support. I love you. God bless you. God bless this country. And I will see y'all on the next one. Peace.